Joe Hopkins here, and today I thought I'd do something a little special, right? A little different, doing a lesson today. How to get better at playing lead guitar, because that's what a lot of people want. They want to get better at lead guitar. And what I'm going to give you here isn't a play this scale, do this exactly kind of thing. I'm going to give you a concept. A concept that will not only help you get better at playing lead, but to develop your own kind of style, right? This is the way I learned. Now, I'm going to use mostly just a standard pentatonic scale, right? But this works with any scale. Pick a scale. If you're a metalhead, maybe you want to play double harmonic minor. If you're into jazz, maybe you want to play some kind of mode or the bebop scale or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. I like pentatonic because it's easy to remember, it's really easy to play, and it's the basis of like blues, rock, country, pretty much anything that's like modern music, even a lot of pop music. It's a real handy scale, right? And it's where I began, right? But like I said, this concept works for any scale. Let me make sure. There we go, I'm recording there. I wanted to make sure my guitar, I got it plugged in today, using that piezo pickup. Anyway, first, whatever scale you want to learn, or you want to play with, learn it, right? Learn whatever scale, buy a scale book, look it up on YouTube, but learn a scale. Chances are, if you're watching this video, the title says how to get better at lead guitar. You probably already know some kind of scale and you want to get better at it. Well, what I've found works great is just noodle. Honestly, play around with it a lot. Yeah, just like that. Keep a guitar in your living room. I know everybody says practice, right? And that's true. Practice makes you better. But also, the more you fiddle around with it, the more you'll find little licks and little things that you like that you can incorporate into it. Now, of course, learn other people's styles, other people's licks, and keep in mind the entire fretboard, all of this, all these notes are the right notes depending on what sound you're looking for. Every scale, any scale, literally is, you know, whatever notes you play is a scale. So play around with it and see what notes just aren't in your scale that still sound good or you like the sound of, and start fiddling around with those. See where does it sound good if you bend, you know? And the whole point of just noodling around and fiddling with it is to find those things. Which notes sound good even though they're not necessarily in your scale? You see, you get that little, that's not in the pentatonic scale, but used in the right context, you know, sounds pretty good. What's that flat fifth? Or I'm not going to go into theory, but just find the notes that you can add to whatever scale you're playing that work. You see, I add a couple little notes in there. My scale, but I add the little and play it in the right context. It sounds good. The whole point of fiddling around with it is maybe you like notes that I don't really use that much. Maybe what you're doing sounds better if you use something different, you know? Add in different notes to your scale. Just play around with it. Try your scale in different positions. Like, you know, I can play the pentatonic scale here, or I can play it here. Or I can play it here. Whatever scale you're playing, try to learn it in different places, because different places are gonna kind of allow you to do different things. They're gonna give you different licks. Like I can do this here. I can't really do that same lick as easily just anywhere. You know what I mean? And certain positions lend themselves to certain things. And you don't even need a scale book. At first, I didn't even use a scale book. All I did was I found the notes to this, you know, and I just fiddled around till I found them up here. And then I fiddled around till I found them up here, which, let me remember it. And then I fiddled around till I found them. You know what I mean? You can find where they are. And of course, you can use a scale book. You can look it up on YouTube. And the reason why I'm not giving you specifics is because you should be learning the scale you want to learn. You know? I'm giving you pentatonic, but it doesn't matter what scale you use. Just fiddle around with it. Another cool thing to do, and this is a lot of fun, is get a nice little backing track, right? Learn how to find your scale in different keys and get a backing track that kind of fits the genre you're going for and fiddle around with it. Just put it on a loop. Put part of that track or part of that little, you can get loops that you can follow that people use for recording, or you can just play with them and just have it loop it and fiddle around, and you're going to find all sorts of neat stuff. And I do that all the time, where I'll just put on a loop and I'll play around with different things. And sometimes it sounds good, and sometimes it doesn't. But over time, you start to find what sounds good. And even when you think you have a handle on it, try different things. Try a different scale over the same loop. Try, different types of licks and riffs. And the whole point of developing a style and getting better at lead guitar is a lot of experimentation. And it's basically what I'm telling you to do, is to sit around and just experiment with it. And if you like the way certain riffs or licks sound, you can look up, and once again, YouTube's a great resource for that, is you can look at how do I play this particular AC/DC riff, right? Or how can I play this particular John Coltrane riff on the guitar? If you're into jazz, yeah, man, he played some great licks. How do I play that on the guitar? And there are videos on that kind of stuff. And start to throw other people's licks in there. Like, I like this one. I messed it up. I like that one. Those are nice little blues licks, or your classic. And you can start using those or even modifying them. You could change it to. You can modify those same licks and change them to fit what you're doing, fit your style. I like the one that it. Or I can play it a little bit different. See, I can fit a couple other licks that I like in there. Once you get some sounds you like, and you get some licks that work good for what you're doing, and you kind of put them all together, you can start to improvise over things. And you can get better. And especially, like I said, playing with a backing track is great, because a lot of times what sounds good when you're just noodling around by yourself, you have to change it a little bit to work with a particular song or a particular backing track. Playing with a band is good too. If you have a band, you could start trying to work some of that stuff into what you're doing with your band. But yeah, it's always fun to just sit around and noodle with the guitar. I mean, dude, you can just keep it by the couch, and if you're watching TV or YouTube or streaming, whenever it hits a commercial, just pick up your guitar and just fiddle around for a minute, A lot of people do that with fitness stuff. You want to get better at push-ups? Do push-ups during the commercials, If you want to get better at guitar, noodle around during the commercials. Or if you're doing something else, I mean, anything you're doing in life, if you have a guitar near you, you can take a little break from this and practice your guitar a little bit. That's one thing that helped me more than anything else, was just keeping an instrument next to my chair or next to the couch, That way it's just there and you pick it up and play around with it during the day. And of course, buy a book of scales and chords and arpeggios. They sell those things. I got a book with scales, chords, and arpeggios. So you can sit there and go through and find chords you like. You can practice an arpeggio that you think would go well with what you're doing. You can practice different scales, and you can incorporate different scale ideas into the scale you're playing. There are no wrong notes, right? They're all here, and you can use any of them in any way you want, as long as it sounds good with what you're doing. And if you like the way something sounds, you can write a song around a particular scale. I've done that before, where I'll literally put a song together because I like the way a particular scale sounds, a particular style of soloing sounds. I find a couple licks I really like, and can I work that into a song? I've done that before. And you can too, and you can always get better at it. And like I said, man, develop your style. Experiment. Play around with what you're doing until you find something that works for you, you know? You can see I play a lot of blues, and I just play around with the blues scale till I find something I like. And I go on YouTube and I look up different ideas and learn other people's licks. To do that, just noodle. That's what they call it, noodling around, you know? And do that, noodle around a lot, but noodle around with purpose. Not just mindlessly playing, but looking for the notes you want, looking for licks you like, looking for the riffs that you think would make a good song later, or that you just find fun to play. And you'll get better. You'll get better at it, and then you won't sound like that person. You'll sound like you. Your influences will shine through, but it is good to sound like you. And the more you discover on your own, the more you'll sound like you. So that's my thoughts on that kind of thing. I hope it was helpful, man. If it was helpful, man, let me know. Tell me in the comments if that was at all helpful, right? Maybe it's total crap. Maybe I'm a total hack. Maybe I shouldn't be teaching anything. But either way, you should subscribe to my channel, because I'm awesome and you're awesome. And together, we are awesomeness personified, right? All right. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.